My scripture today is from Ecclesiastes and Thessalonians. My first scripture is Ecclesiastes Chapter 1, verses 1 through 2. To everything there is a season, and a time for every purpose under the sun, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. And my second scripture is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verses 16 through 18. Be joyful always, pray without ceasing, and everything give thanks. For this is the will of God. Thus ends the reading of the scripture. It's hard to believe that here we are, Thanksgiving is only 1.5 weeks away. I just don't know where the year has gone. Many of us have already begun the preparations for our Thanksgiving feast, planning the holiday menu of savory foods and sweets. And others will soon be leaving their journey to visit family or friends, following those traditions that were started when we were a child, from watching the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade to feasting on turkey and stuffing and sitting around the table reminiscing with those so dear to us. Warm gatherings, laughter, and sharing time together. Thanksgiving is an American holiday with its roots in the days of the early settlers who came to this new world seeking a better life. And after a long growing season of hard work, they came together to share in their harvest. To everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under the sun. The growing season has now come to an end. The fields have been harvested, the plows are in the barn, and now it's time to enjoy. It's time to enjoy the fruits of our labor. This holiday not only presents an opportunity to outwardly celebrate with those we care about, but it's also a time to inwardly reflect upon what we have planted and cultivated during the year. As we sow, we shall reap. In my last sermon, I spoke about natural laws. And in particular, I spoke about the law of attraction and the law of abundance. And we learned how closely these two laws work together and intertwine. What we think is what we will create. And what we think is what we will attract. What we sow is what we shall reap. So if we want abundance, then that's what we have to think and believe. And complementing these two laws are the law of gratitude and the law of giving, the cornerstone of our Thanksgiving holiday. Thanks plus giving. As we acknowledge our blessings and show gratitude, we activate the law of abundance. Acknowledging the divine flow and living in this flow. Sincere gratitude is a powerful tool. It's a powerful tool in creating and living in abundance. And just as the prior laws, these two work very closely together. One of the things we're doing when we show gratitude is we're living in a positive frame of mind. And in this positive frame of mind, We see the good in the situation because it's our choice to see the glass half empty or half full. It's the same amount that's in there, but it's how we perceive it. As we think, so shall it be. What happens when we acknowledge our abundance? We create more abundance. Why? Because we are looking for it. We are looking for the good. And our consciousness perceives the abundance and doesn't see the lack. And this energy continues to multiply and draw even more to us. The energy of gratitude multiplies our abundance. Our scripture teaches us, be joyful always, pray without ceasing, in everything give thanks, for this is the will of God. We should not only be grateful for the bountiful harvest, but also for the lessons. Each help us to live a richer and fuller life. And as tough as they may be, our lessons make us stronger. Now, may not always be easy to be thankful for the lessons, but they are opportunities for growth. Unfortunately, we don't always get to choose our lessons. The past 2 years have been challenging for many people as a result of the pandemic. Normal was thrown out the window. On an individual and global level, we faced unprecedented challenges. Many souls crossed over from the virus, and there were fewer seats at the Thanksgiving table. Not all change is of our choosing, but we learn from it. By looking at a situation through the lens of gratitude, it helps us find even the tiniest morsel of good to help us realize the lesson. Take, for example, the pandemic. There was a segment on the news the other night about the millions of people who are not returning to the workforce. They are choosing to retire early or seeking other career paths, making different life choices that bring them greater joy. Office buildings may never return to 100% full occupancy, with many wanting to continue to work from home. Because while working from home during the pandemic, they realized what they were missing. They realized they had a better quality of life and more time to spend with family. They got to have dinner at night with their children and tuck them into bed at night. The pandemic has been devastating on many levels, but from the ashes came growth. For some, the realization that we don't have to be slaves to our work and that quality of life is the most important. Making different life choices so we are happier and more fulfilled. To everything, there is a season. The summer season is behind us, and the daylight hours are waning. Our energies are shifting from a time of planting and growing and harvesting to a time of reflection and introspection, and a time to enjoy the harvest, a time to reflect upon what and how we have grown this year, and to reflect upon all we have to be grateful for and ways that we could share our plentiful harvest. Giving thanks for the food on our table to provide us sustenance every day, and giving thanks to the lessons that made us wiser. While I was walking last Sunday, contemplating my sermon, I had this sense of overwhelming gratitude as I thought about all that I was grateful for. I am grateful to each of you, my spiritual family, being able to share this inner journey together. And as part of our Thanksgiving preparations, I encourage each of you to contemplate what you have to be grateful for. Each day between now and Thanksgiving, when you get up in the morning, go to bed at night, think about what you're grateful for. Even if you had a challenging day, consider what you learned from that experience and give thanks for the opportunity to grow. The other half of the equation of Thanksgiving is the law of giving. We are taught, as we give, we shall receive. The more we give, the more we receive. And just as with gratitude, when we give, we are living in the divine flow. And the divine flow of God is unlimited. For when we give, we receive, and then we attract even greater abundance. The key is to give freely and willingly, giving with no strings attached and expecting nothing in return. Quite often, we associate giving with money. But giving is not limited to a monetary offering. For when we give of ourselves, that is when we are truly giving, such as giving of our energy, our time, our healing, our love. I was raised to believe that tithing was to give 10% of one's salary. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not discouraging anyone from supporting local charities or nonprofit organizations. But the point I'm making is that to tithe means that we are giving 10% of ourselves, whether monetary or energetically. Something of great value is our time. So when we give of our time, we are giving 6 minutes of every hour to God. There are many opportunities to give. Perhaps making a point of saying hello to everyone you pass on the street. To that one person, your smile and warm greeting may have made a difference in their day. Sending healing to someone in need. Listening and holding space for friends. Donating our time to read to children or volunteering at a charity. Taking a warm meal to someone who is shut in. In a quote from E.P. Andrus, the human contribution is the essential ingredient. It is only of the giving of oneself to others that we truly live. We are presented with many opportunities to give, and it is up to each of us how we choose to give of ourselves. In so doing, we are not only helping another, but we are living in this divine flow of giving and receiving. This is the holiday of thanks plus giving. As the leaves fall and the seasons change, it is time to enjoy our bountiful harvest and share it with family and friends. Many blessings to you and to your families this holiday season. In everything, give thanks, for this is the will of God. Namaste.